Hello, my fellow messengers, and welcome. I'm S. Barry Hamadani, the relationship messenger. And today I want to encourage men to rebuke cancel culture. Stop going around apologizing for being men. Stop apologizing for being who God made you to be. There are a there are a couple of concepts that you will often hear me refer to, and I want to give you the background of it so that you'll understand the foundational the foundation of what I'm speaking of. And one of those concepts has to do with social construction on one hand and biological inclinations on the other. Social construct has to do with the view that something has been exacerbated socially, that something has been conditioned socially, which gives impetus to a person's action or choice. Biological impetus, on the other hand, is the belief and understanding of the science, proven science, that people have certain biological dispositions. A man, for example, might be biologically dispositioned to hunt deer. A woman's biological disposition may be for something less graphic, less bloody, less violent, so to speak. And obviously, the background of that is that men were hunters and we had to hunt to survive. Now, those concepts have become politicized for a reason. And my assertion is that they are politicized because bankers, insurance companies, the powers that be need to divide families so that they can exploit you, put you in great debt, and so that they may have control, so that they may control a captive audience of voters. And this is the main reason men are under attack, because men have been the defense, the caretakers of the household. And these demonic enterprises do not want men in the way so that they may devour women, keep them in debt, and have more political control and a captive audience of voters. So keep that in mind when I'm speaking of social construction as opposed to biological inclinations. What is generally happening in Western culture is that women are angry that God made them female. It's as if they're shaking their fist at God for making them female, angry because of the influences and the implications of women biology. They simply don't understand. Look, they give tremendous nobility to the politics of feminism, but at the same time, they tend to emasculate masculinity. You hear the implications of this idea in Western culture. You hear women saying things to their mates like, "We are pregnant." No, we're not. You're pregnant. The woman is pregnant. I recall having conversations with women during the time that Obama was running for office, and they're going, "Well, I'm voting for black women. I'm voting for a woman, so we have a woman in the White House." You've always had a woman in the White House since there's been a White House. It's just that she's been a white woman. Called themselves woke, and they're completely asleep. Why? Well, for a number of reasons. One, women have the notion of a patriarchy that oppress them. And to some extent, that is true. But even if that patriarchy existed, it was obviously not ran by men of color. These powers, principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places, as the Bible calls it. This was not orchestrated by men of color. So the question then becomes, so why are you angry with us? You're angry because you're confused. They are confused. Look, women in Western society, many women, not all, but it is a part of the culture, a big part of the culture. Not necessarily every individual woman, but definitely individual women support the culture that I'm about to enunciate to you. One, women generally are unable to decipher the difference between a strong, confident male with authority from the violent tyrant that they've experienced in their past relationships. Now, maybe they're suffering from some form of PTSD, but that's not my fault, and it's not your fault. If you're a good man, you don't have to apologize for the behavior of some other man, let alone make yourself a rug that women can wipe their feet on you simply because they had bad experiences. I'm having this conversation because I want you to understand the knowledge behind the culture, to understand what brought you here. And when you have this understanding, you're going to be a more effective leader in your romantic relationships. You will better understand the woman, why she thinks the way she thinks, and at the same time, you can still stand strong and firmly and be the man that God made you to be. And in Western society, women are under the impression that men are the reason they did not have equal opportunity. No, the system was the reason you did not have equal opportunity. It's the same system that oppressed Black people, but you don't see us running around hating people because we went through a form of oppression, and that form was devastating to men, but that's another story. The point of the matter is, women feel that men are the problem. Men are the reason that they did not have opportunity. And even that is only true in part. Yes, to some extent, that was the way of Western society, but that's not the whole story. In all thy getting, as the scriptures say, let us get an understanding. As the scripture further says, let's not judge a matter before it's time. What happened historically is that women were, for several reasons, unable to have ready access to certain types of jobs. This was especially true prior to the invention of birth control pills, which were invented by men. Birth control pills allowed women to have access, as did men, because they could control their body to an extent and determine whether or not they wanted to have children. So it gave them, the birth control pill, gave them a sense of freedom and allowed them to pursue their careers without worrying about getting pregnant and having to not work because of the pregnancy, which brings about another implication in our society. Women get pregnant, and again, to demasculate masculinity, they may say something to their mate, to their husband, like, we are pregnant. No, we're not. She's pregnant. The man's not pregnant. The couple is expecting a baby. But getting on to my point, women then begin to blame men that they were not able to excel prior to the invention of the birth control pill. That was only part of it. Secondly, it's obvious that women were not able to participate in certain types of jobs because tampons had not yet been invented, which were also invented by men, which allowed women to enter the workforce in greater numbers without the uh, reality of being embarrassed, so to speak. But those things are never talked about because it is not politically beneficial. And politicians work that theme strongly because they need women votes. And in research, it really surprised me that the, and I'm not one for partisan politics, especially in the conversations I have with you, but sometimes the truth just falls where it falls. I was surprised that it was Democrats who really pushed those leftist, far leftist issues. But here's the point. Point being that blame the men that you could not enter the workforce. Now that you're in the workforce, look for reasons to blame men for anything that goes wrong, anything that you don't like. If a man compliments you because you looked nice, well, that's in your mind, in the woman's mind, the grounds for a lawsuit. So they're trying to legalize and idolize the political feminist idea and demonize masculinity. And what you and I need to know as men is that we're going to remain men, remain strong, remain leaders, no matter how they are influenced by the dark devil in the corner while the men are in the ring. That dark demon in the corner is shouting and cheerleading them to give you more body shots. Keep hitting him in the body, he will buckle and he will let you have your way. Men know this. This phenomenon is not new. It's as old as Eve. It is as old as Delilah. It's as old as Jezebel. So what I want you to remember is to be proud for who you are. Know that God made you the strong leader that you are. To know that the powers and principalities, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places, New World Order, Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, is not going to effectively change the order of God. So be thankful that you are a man. Be thankful that you are a good man. And don't move off your square. May God bless you. Until we talk again, it's Barry Hamdani. Pass the message.